Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. I have my Famiclone again. It's looking pretty good. Even on the big telly, it's actually a reasonable quality picture. Just, you know, the usual amount of horrible lines you're likely to see from anything of that age, but not bad. They're not they were never designed to be looked on sort of 40-inch flat panels, were they? So what I'm going to do now, I'm not happy with the audio level. I don't like it. It's too quiet. And if I recall last time I looked in this, it wasn't really feasible to do too much with that because it's all on a sort of system on chip. In fact, I didn't see any kind of amplification circuitry on there. So what I propose I'm going to do is sort it out with additional amplification. Come on, get off. And the way I'm going to do that is by shoving an extra board in here, and this is of course a baby boomer. This is one of my baby boomer boards, and I'm going to just solder that right in. I'm going to use some black cable today, I think. The darkest of all cables, and we're going to probably just solder, stick. Got this sticky pad, not sure what it's for, but it looks like it's going to be very suitable for our needs. It's got 3M glue on it either side, bit of foam. So we know this is the audio out basically here, and that's the audio out pin. So I've cut the track where the audio out pin goes to the RF, so it was getting some sort of attenuation there. You can see there I've poked out a component from the other side. There's our amplifier. So technically, because it's a stereo amplifier, we could give the stereo out. He says. I think I will actually. I'm going to use the RF out here as a secondary stereo to give me a stereo output. And I know you're at home going, it's not stereo. Yes, I know it's not stereo, but I'd like to have left and right channels going to my TV. If you don't mind, if that's okay with you. So I've got that stuck there. I'm just going to loosen this just because I want to kind of disconnect that RF feed. And you can see the RF feed there. So just checking there. Yeah, it's going to a little tingly-tangly coil basically. That's what that is for. So I'm going to disable the little orangey tingly-tangly coil. Yeah, that's it. RF is eliminated now totally from this board. And I'm just checking the audio to see where that's coming from. Yeah, the audio is pretty much here. There is this thing here coming across the audio that somehow... It's weird. There is a resistor that goes between the audio and video, which is a bit peculiar. No, it's not. No, that's just me talking nonsense. Just ignore me. Just following that through. Actually, I think the audio... No, that's video. So we're just tracing the audio and that goes there. Yeah, the audio is definitely amplified, so we're going to do something with that. Just thought I'd go a bit bonkers. Sometimes you have to double check these things. Let's hook that up there. These screws have been in and out a few times now, so they're not really biting anymore. They're just for show, just to give you that false sense of security. Right, let's hook up our baby boomer. So those of you at home might be thinking, that's all very well and good what you're up to, but isn't there the possibility you're going to blow your PCB up by putting too much juice out? Yeah, that is a possibility, and I'm just double checking. If you remember, we got that voltage regulator we fitted here. That voltage regulator is a weird pinout that I kind of forgot what it was. Yeah, so it's ground, output, input. So the middle pin is the 5 volts, so that's where we want to go. So we want to go from that middle pin to our +5 there, so that'll be plenty of wire there for that. You can see I'm taking a lot of care. The reason I'm not taking a lot of care in reality is that there's loads of room under the hood here, so there's plenty of room for spare wire. I don't really worry about that too much. Just tinning the ends. I might zoom out a touch because I'm going to tend to move around a little bit, and I know you guys at home with your fancy smancy high def tellies can see it anyway, so come on, get in there. Yeah, I don't really need to be soldering directly onto this regulator leg, but actually let's not. Okay, so there's a 5 volts feed here, that's where it goes to other parts of the board. There was a jumper, if you recall, and we moved that jumper to this side of the PCB, and then we're just soldering onto that now. So now we've got loads of wire, that's plenty. Just going to tin the connections. Easier to tin with solder. So that's the input right, input ground, input left, differential outputs, 5 volts plus. We'll trim that lead down a bit. Those are differential outputs though, so I don't know. I'm a little bit dubious as to the grounding of that. We might have to be a bit careful. So we might have to isolate these outputs a bit better. But that's fine, we can do that. That's another few mods to this board, but at this point. So the only downside, and there is a downside of using a baby boomer rather, I was going to say booby board, baby board, is that its gain is adjustable, but only by adjusting those components on it. If you want to adjust its gain directly rather than putting a volume control in line or a little pot or resistor. So if it transpires that this is all a bit too loud, I'm probably going to have to just tweak it with a bit of modding. Again, a bit more modding. Just going to move that 5 volts because I think I want to get the negative in first. Find my good tweezers and I can. So this is the negative wire. We're going to go straight there. Positive wire. It's all a bit weird, isn't it, playing with these old consoles in the world of HDMI and NES Minis and various other clones of these consoles now that have been made for modern standards. But it's kind of fun to still have something that you can just hack around with, and if it breaks, you're not that bothered. I mean, it's fun and all, but it's not an amazing console anyway. It was produced to a price, put it that way. So I'm just looking at the PCB now, so we want to sort of tap off a bit of this track to here. I'm going to cut it here, right here, because you probably start to see that now. Right, so I'm going to cut this off right here. And those of you watching, sorry I didn't get a fiberglass pencil for doing my scraping yet. So that's where I'm going to solder it, and then I'm going to cut track here. There we go, so that's that done. Just going to tin that because they're always can be a bit tricky to tin those. That was lovely and easy. So we're basically going to go from here over to here at some point. And there isn't an audio ground, so we're going to ground it to the chassis ground basically. And we can do a very small jumper from here to here for that. And then we're going to go from the output plus and minus, though we'll have to go to this connector here that's connected here, but we don't necessarily want we don't necessarily want it in its current configuration, and I'll show you why. And that's because we want to separate its ground now from chassis ground. So we want to have an audio ground, basically, an independent audio ground. So it means we have to move this rather now hot thing over. We can move it over there. That's pretty convenient for us. There we go. Now it's out of the way. So that gives us the opportunity now to sort of cut here and here, and again we might have to just jumper for the benefit of the rest of the circuit. Ouch. So we're going to go for it, I think. Now be very careful if you're doing this yourself, because this is a deep cut with a lot of pressure on it. So when it goes, it's going to go hard, and you don't want it to go hard into your flesh. Okay, so that's those two there. And we know we're going to want to do the same over here because we've planned on that. So let's just do the same here. Now if you've got like some sort of Dremel tool, often you'll find that like a lot easier. It might be a bit dustier, a bit noisier, but it can just blitz through that. Okay, good. I think we've got those all cut up. Just got to peel them off now. You really don't want any of this to remain, or it's going to cause you all sorts of misery. Oh bugger, just sort of realised something here. I've just done those cuts, but actually this whole bloody grounding on its chassis, these 3 pins are actually all connected together, so it's okay. I'm going to calm myself. Let's think. Alright, I think what we'll do is we'll just experiment. We'll go with plan 1 and just sort of experiment without connecting the differential grounds, but I can't think even in my mind what that's going to do. Hang on. See, feasibly it would be easier just to almost output separate audio jacks just for that, but it's not going to work out for us. Okay, let's just do that experiment. Bugger. I wasted your time and I wasted my time. Pretty sure it'll work still, but I want it to work properly. To be fair though, this is a speaker output driver, not a line output driver, so the gain would be insane without some sort of attenuation. Okay. That's that wire there. Instead of making a small jumper, I'm actually going to make it run another wire to the other channel. So if this wasn't busted and it was putting out normal line level audio output, I wouldn't really recommend this unless you wanted to connect this straight up to its own speakers, because these are going to put way too much power out for your line input on your telly. I can guarantee you that your telly will not like this. Not sure what it would do. It's not necessarily going to blow up, but it might. It'll certainly not be happy with the levels. It would be distorted. Right, let's keep going. So we want to just get the common ground now. That's like an audio input ground, but we know that that's just reference to chassis, so That's why these bloody things pick up so much noise and hum and hiss. There might actually be an audio ground on the chip that it uses, but they didn't bring it out this far. Okay, that's good. Just sort of looking at the PCB, yeah. I'm going to hook it over to here. Again, just because it's slightly easier. You know, we are effectively just jumping. We could just make a very short jumper, but there's no real need. Good. I'm not going to bother fixing these things up. I think they're okay as they are. So just 2 more wires. So we're just going to go straight from one thing to the other. Put in this handy holder for soldering. Going to do that nicely. Ouch. So incidentally, if you want a baby boomer, they're on my online store, backofficeshow.com/shop, or is it /store? /one of those. I'm not sure if I'm feeling British or American at the moment, but it's I think it's store actually. That's kind of more web terminology. Ow. And they're on there with some other items, so have a look. And if you fancy one, yeah, please buy one. I'll send it to you. And it kind of acts as a bit of a donation to the channel. Really, it helps support the channel. I don't really make anything on those, but it'll help me buy that coffee. Right, I'm going to go grab a game cartridge and a power supply, and we're going to see if that makes a measurable difference. Okay, the moment of truth. I've got my pot noodle speaker here just off camera as a audio. So again, it is actually its own amplifier too, so it's going to be more amplification. But it's going to be used as an example so that we can sort of probe things and hear what it sounds like. So I'm going to plug this in. So that's the power in. I'm going to select a game, so I'm just going to hook this on somewhere. Problem is, it's hard to select the game without a screen. Okay, we've got some sound there. Okay, not massively loud, but let me show you what it's like if we put it on the differential then. Let's see what that would be like. Wow, there is a difference actually. I'm just going to show you the difference now. So this is turned up to maximum. If we put this now, I don't know if you can hear that even. Very faint, don't know if you can hear that. If I put it here on the output, at least it's audible, but just try and work out though if it's louder here. So it seems slightly quieter on these things, but it's actually okay. I think we're getting away with it really. So I think we've solved the problem. Yeah. See if we can measure a voltage, or I've got my oscilloscope here. I'll just read out the numbers to you so you don't have to see the screen, but let's have a look. Let's do the common ground. It's talking about, we've got about 2 volts coming in off the source, and then on the amplifier we're getting about 6 volts out, so that should be enough. Can't wait to play it. Hope that's been of some use to you, using the Booby Boomer as a kind of a little mini kind of operational amp, preamp almost, for a low gain source. It does seem to work, so I'm pleased. Again, luckily I've got all the bits to do a nice little project. So there, boosting up the amp and giving me stereo output at the same time. Wonderful. As ever, thanks for watching.